Back here, boys. Jacob, down the stretch, what would you say the difference was? They came back well and took the lead there for a minute or two, yet Richmond seemed to have enough composure and experience to hold them back. What was the difference there down the stretch?
Yeah, you mentioned it. A lot of this experience. We made a couple shots towards the end, big time shots. Hit a couple free throws towards the end. But we were fouling them a little too much. I think even down the stretch, we started to give them just free points by free throws. Didn't get a lot of rebounds. Definitely could have been a cleaner win for us for sure.
Thank you.
Jacob, last year, obviously we know Duquesne's a physical team, but you guys dominated them in the paint last year, 40-18, outscored them. Tonight, they outscore you guys 38-26. Pretty similar roster. Anything different from last year, or maybe just the flow of the game that made him a little bit more effective inside this time?
We probably didn't give Grant enough touches down low. He got a good amount, but I think not really in positions for him to make plays for himself exactly. He had 8 assists. He was wheeling and dealing out there. But we definitely could have looked to get him the ball more for sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Jacob, having come off a couple COVID pauses yourselves, was there kind of a different game plan knowing that Duquesne had just come off a COVID pause, coming to this one, attacking them a different way?
I didn't even know that, to be honest with you. That's probably bad on my part. But I don't know if any of us really knew that. But, no, that's not something we discussed. We go out most games and just worry about ourselves. We're not really focused on anybody else. We wanted to pressure them a lot, but I don't think that was because of anything COVID related. I think that's just kind of the makeup of the game,
Anything else for Jacob?
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
I'll keep it short, John. We're pleased with the win. I thought we made enough tough plays down the stretch to win the game. Obviously, they're a great offensive rebounding team, and that really hurt us throughout the second half. But I thought coming up with a couple of tough ones late was big. Made some foul shots, executed. So we're pleased with the win and looking forward to Tuesday night's game.
Chris, did you see indications that Richmond was more back in the swing after Wednesday's game and the pause prior to that?
A little, yes, definitely. I thought we clicked and moved the ball nicely in the first half. I thought we really had some stretches. What I think the next step is, I just talked to Bob on the radio and I said, we're practicing better than we're playing, which is a normal thing early in a season or off a break like this, I think. And then we have a hard time sustaining it. And so whether that's, a little bit fog or a little bit tired legs or you put a guy in because he has fresh legs, but he's not as in the flow, that kind of thing. So we need to catch up because we've practiced very well and we just need to catch up in the games. And I do feel like we were better today, regardless of the outcome of the game. I thought we were better today in the things that we do well.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris. Last year, obviously, you guys, it's Duquesne's a physical team, but dominated them in the paint 40-18. This time around, Duquesne outscores you guys 38-26 down there. You obviously mentioned the work on the offensive glass. What was maybe different in this one versus last year, similar roster, and maybe why they were so effective down low?
Yeah, I thought today, I thought they were even more what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive, really more looking for offensive rebounds, guys running to the paint when there would be a shot that would happen. They play with two big guys, and those guys are active and aggressive, just as active and aggressive when they don't get the ball as when they do. And I thought it was more of an emphasis this year for Duquesne, and we didn't handle it well enough at all during the course of the game.
And just one last question. Second game in a row, you guys have kind of seemed to struggle to get stops without fouling in the last 8-9 minutes or so. How much of that is heavy legs coming off the COVID pause, but now a week out, is that a concern at all going forward?
Sure, it's everything's a concern, but yes, I feel like I don't want to use the pause as a crutch for anything we do wrong, but realistically, it's a difficult thing to recover from, to overcome. So I do think that's a little bit of it because our legs just aren't quite as crisp. Our reaction isn't quite as good. I think we had a couple of times where we're near steals today. A lot of times we get those steals. So yeah, I think we need to keep working on it. And like I said, practice has been very good, crisp, sharp, and we need them to be better. We need to be better in the games. We just need to keep coming along.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, on another front, could you share your thoughts about the A-10's action regarding the shortening of the season and the change in venue for the tournament?
Well, yeah, John, I would say that I don't understand how it benefits the conference. We started the season 15 days late with no benefit, and now we're ending the season 7 days early. We need games. We need opportunities to play. We need opportunities to play against the best teams we can possibly play. And so does VCU, St. Bonaventure, and St. Louis, and Davidson. I really don't understand why that happened. The first game we rescheduled twice was the VCU game. That's a game that's, in my opinion, the best rivalry in the conference. It means a lot to both programs, the city of Richmond. We switched venues to play at the Siegel Center the other night. And then the next day, the return game was canceled. And that's a great game for both teams. VCU as the that would be a quad 1 game for VCU, and it might be a quad 1 game for Richmond, even as the host. So we should play VCU, and that's not me calling out anybody. VCU could certainly beat us. They did the other night. St. Joe's could certainly beat us. But that for the conference and for the two schools and the rivalry, we should be playing VCU, and that was the game that was on the books. I don't see the benefit of shortening the season when we need opportunities. We need opportunities to play, and for some reason, 3 weeks after we changed the tournament to come to Richmond, those games were removed from the schedule. And not just Richmond. Again, our top teams need opportunities to play games. And I don't know, we agreed to move the game. And I was, I was trying to get the game to be pushed back a day because of coming out of the pause. And the day after that game, the return game to the Robins Center is canceled. That's a tough one to swallow for me. And, I think Mike Rhodes is he's the best of college basketball, the best of college basketball. I think he's a great coach. I think he's a tremendous person and dad. Our sons play together. This is not me calling out that at all, but we should be playing VCU for the benefit of both schools, both programs, both fan bases, and the Atlantic 10.
Thank you.
Chris, I'd like to just clarify, so it does sound like that this decision did kind of come as a shock, that you guys weren't hearing kind of rumblings in maybe the past week of a potential shakeup to the conference tournament?
No rumblings. Total shock.
Hey, Chris, if I could follow up, I'm assuming this was a decision made by the A-10 without communication with the coaches. in the conference?
Well, if it was, I did not have any communication with the Atlantic 10. Look, they have a hard job. This is very difficult to manage. I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe had 8 teams that were on a pause. I think Richmond being one of them. Really difficult to manage, really tough. Fortunate enough to have 4 teams, maybe 5, in the mix. And I had mentioned the other night, in the A10, when LaSalle went to the Sweet 16, I think in 2013, they were in the first 4 game in Dayton. When Dayton went to the Elite 8, might have been the same year, John. Dayton went to the Elite 8, maybe 2015. They were an 11 seed. You are on the bubble. If you have the Dayton team last year and you're a top pick or a top seed, the St. Joe's undefeated team, some of the Temple teams, from back. But we are on the bubble is where you're going to be, and so the best thing for teams on the bubble is to play games and have the opportunities.
Anything else for Coach, guys?
Chris, have you reached out to Mike Rhodes about trying to maybe get that VCU game back on somehow?
Yeah, so Mike and I talk a lot. That's going to be a difficult thing, we haven't talked about scheduling the game ourselves, but I think, I don't want to speak for Mike, but I think he's probably in agreement. I don't know their resume and all that, but generally where our resumes don't look as good is in the quad 1, quad 2 range, because you might have a 6th place team in the ACC that has 20 of those opportunities and they're 7-13. And that looks better than the A10 teams who are 3-5 because they have more opportunities to play. Now they get those games at home, and there's a little bit of there's a lot of value in playing in a high major conference. But not knowing anyone's resume really, and barely knowing ours, I just know over the course of time you need opportunities to play games, and the better games you have, the more, the less they hurt you and the more they have the ability to help you.
Anything else, guys? All right,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys. Appreciate you.
We'll probably do something after the UMass game before St. Louis. If you need something on Monday, let me know. We'll set it up.
Thanks.